can record if you'd like to. Yep. Perfect.
Perfect.
I will mute myself and take myself out of this.
All right. Ready on my end. How you doing out west? Everything good?
So good. Our travel got a little messed up on our first day, so we were supposed to come out on Monday, but our flight got delayed 2 or 3 hours in Columbus. So then we missed our connection and we had to stay the night in Denver.
So you're in Denver?
That was a little. So I was in Denver. We got it all sorted out, but yesterday we didn't get here until like 2 p.m. or something like that. But we were supposed to get to Oregon like at 11 or something on Monday night or Sunday night, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, you're there now, and you know where you're supposed to go. You're pretty familiar with that track and pretty familiar with the process here. So I'm guessing travel delays notwithstanding, you're probably feeling right at home, right?
Oh yeah, we're staying in the same hotel we stayed in last year, so it's kind of nice. I know like the way to practice and everything. We went to the field. I was like, okay, you're going to turn left. Don't even need to pull up the directions. I'm like, okay, we're going to go here for lunch. And it's very nice to be back. You know, I got really familiar with it last year, so it's awesome to be there.
When you go back to a place, if you go back to a track, to a circle where you have thrown well in the past, regardless of the circumstances, but obviously in your case, you're talking about the biggest meet you've ever been in. When you go back to that place, does it instantly put you mentally with a little bit of comfort? You know, you got to perform at an elite level again. You've got to beat the best girls in the country. But is there that sense of just ease of knowing that you've been there, you've done that, you've experienced it, you've kind of lived it before, right?
Yeah, it's definitely comforting to come back to somewhere that you know, like coming back here, I know exactly what to expect. Like if the ring, depending on the surface of the concrete, can determine if the ring's like super fast or if it's slow. So I know like what to expect when I'm stepping in the ring, if I'm gonna have to be like more vigilant on like different parts of my technique. So it's kind of nice to like come back and know what to expect as I'm stepping in the ring. And it helps me out like before meets, I'll go and I'll like when I'm going to sleep, I'll go and I'll lay in bed and picture like what I want to see throughout the throw. So it helps me to know exactly what I'm seeing in each position.
So the first question, obviously we're talking about the national championship. So I'm wondering, when you think back to last year and you win the national championship, how did it change your life? You know, the fact that you will forever, no one will literally ever take that away from you. You've accomplished this incredible goal. How has it changed your persona, your confidence, who you are as a person? How has it changed you?
It definitely changed how I carry myself like around different throwers, depending on like, for me at least, like since I came from like a walk-on position, I always carried myself like I'm not as good as this person. Like if I knew some big name throwers, I would be a little more timid around them. Now since like I proved myself in the throwing world, everybody kind of knows who I am, and I'm able to like back it up with stats and constantly like, you know, improving and all that stuff. It allows me to like be myself a lot more and talk about like things that I want to talk about on like my social media. If I want to talk about like my come up or mental health or like whatever it is on those platforms, I'll try and talk about it more often because I have like this voice and a platform that I can do so.
The Olympic experience obviously had to be incredibly unique because you build upon, you win the nationals, you get to the trials, you make the team, you make the trip, you have this incredible year. How have you? And you also had to go through some things. You changed coaches this year, so you had some things that have evolved since a year ago.
Right.
How do you think you've handled those changes and, you know, kind of trying to do the same thing, achieve the same result, but doing it maybe in a slightly different way?
I think the way you handle these difficult situations will speak like a lot onto your character and how in competition you will handle difficult situations that you might be put in, like if you have two fouls or it's raining, whatever it is. So my vision is, or like whenever I'm going through like changes in my life or coming back from like the Olympics or going and having a new coach, I always look at it very logically. There's no emotion that I will let like play into these at all. So like when I'm making my decisions and like weighing opinions and everything, it's all like logic, because if I let my emotions weigh into it, then it's like everything's out the roof.
Your team this year is outstanding. You guys have had a great run at
Oh
Big
yeah.
Tens. You've got depth, you've got talent in
Hmm.
all the phases. You've got distance, you've got sprinters, you've got field events people's, not field events people, not just throwers. You've got
Yeah.
a deep team this year.
Yes.
What's your
Yes.
excitement to see what you can do from a team perspective?
It's really exciting for me to like walk into this, because the national championship is a little different than all other track meets. It's kind of individual based, just because a lot of the times, like if you're not ranked going in like first, second, third, you're not really focused on what your team is doing as like a whole. So for us to have such a strong squad this year, it makes me really excited to be able to go around and cheer for people and just like see everybody bouncing the energy off of each other and going into this and fighting for a trophy. We have a lot of people and we have a lot of depth coming out here, so it's exciting to see what's going to happen.
Could certainly be a real thing this year. I was thinking about this with Travis, your new coach. I have never met him. However, he once sold me a hat. This is a
Really?
dumb story. So I threw at Marshall years ago. Travis, the year after I left, they got rid of the track program
Oh, really?
for men. They kept the women's program and they kept women's cross country. Travis eventually came to Marshall to be the throws coach years ago, and I met him through like
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever. And he had these like really cool hats that he had for Marshall that he made up, and I had him get one for me because I'm like, that is amazing. And I never met him in my life. My dad's still a track coach at a high school near Marshall.
Yeah.
And I think he met him a couple times in person. But anyway, when he got this job, I was like, that's the guy. It's all fired up. So walk me through when you change coaches. Obviously the technique can vary coach to coach. How has it varied in your situation?
At the beginning of the year, I had a sit down with Coach Coleman, and I kind of talked about, we went through like an analysis of my throw from last year. And I said, I like this aspect, this aspect, this aspect. This is what I want to build. I want to fix this out of the back, want to fix this in the middle, and then this in the front. And he said, okay, we're going to try and work in this. Is it okay if I change this? And it was just a very good like collaboration. We went back and forth for a couple months, just kind of trying to figure out the different cues that worked for me. And then once we figured it out, we were ready. It was go time.
How have you, from a consistency, from a distance standpoint, this year performed? Like, if people haven't followed you from last year, have you been PRing it and all that good stuff?
Yeah, this year I have definitely been a lot more consistent in my throws. I think indoor season I had over like 20 throws over 18 meters. So that was very exciting to see. And then coming into outdoor, it was a little bit slow to start off with, but once we're starting the championship season, I started to like get a hang of things a little more. I still have world tryouts after this, so we didn't really want to start it too early. So I'm excited, but it's been a lot more consistent this year, and we've been like consistently seeing these big numbers in practice. So I'm be excited to see if I can put one together this weekend.
Well, that leads me to one other thing. So obviously, because you now have an international profile, having gone to the Olympics, and now you think about, this year, you got not only the world championships, but you're thinking about the world championships for the first time ever in the US and at the same place you're going to be. So
Yes.
it's a pretty much tailor-made situation for you.
Oh,
How
yeah.
much, I'm guessing you're kind of hinting at it, but how much of your thought process this year has been beyond even the national championships about the fact that you could maybe, be a player in a home soil world championships?
Right. I've definitely been thinking about it all year. Going into this year, I kind of went over my goals with Coach Coleman, And I sat down and I said, like, I want to do this academically. I want to do this in the weight room. Mentally, I want to work on this. And then in my throws, I want to work on that, on whatever it was. And so I definitely put that on my goal list to, try out for the world team and hopefully represent Team USA there. But it's really exciting to have these championships here. I'm blessed enough to be able to see what the process is like next year or last year. So it's exciting to come into this year and know what to expect for these tryouts and go from there.
Is it, forgive me on this, but I think it's still top three, right? Top three at essentially world trials.
So it's a little weird to explain this. So there's these meets throughout the year for professionals. They're called Diamond League meets.
Yeah, IAAF,
And
right.
if you win one of those, you get an auto bid to it.
Okay.
So Maggie Ewan, she's a professional shot putter. She was the first person to win one of these Diamond League meets. So she has an auto queue, and then there's 3 more spots available for the USA.
Okay.
And then that would be the same if you won a world championship. So Joe Kovacs has an auto queue for it, and then there's still 3 other positions.
Right. Can you go compete in Diamond League when you're done with this?
Yes, I can. I can go and compete in Diamond League. It would just be like on my own dollar. Since I'm still in college right now, I would have to pay for everything out of pocket. So,
well, I guess it's like, but it's weird because you're like protecting quote unquote amateur status. But then again, you can easily now with NIL go get someone to offset the cost of travel, and
exactly.
like that could probably work. But is there a Diamond League meet that you would have your eye on to try to compete in first?
Not really specifically one. Normally the first thing like professional like athletes do is they'll do like a European tour.
Yeah.
So they'll go to like Greece, Italy, France, all those places. I don't really have a specific place. I was like, oh, that just just that whole little trip sounds pretty cool. I mean, 3 months in Europe would be pretty sick.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially you do the thing you like to do. And
oh yeah.
I think that's good for me. Anything else I forgot or anything else I should tell people?
No, I think that was pretty good. I mean, I think you covered everything.
Well, like I said, I love the sport. It's been a long time since I threw, but God, I loved it. And I've loved watching you and admire you, man. You've done a great job. Great job.
You.
It's been so fun. And go get it done. When's your trials and when's your finals this week?
So I throw shot put on Thursday at like 6:40 Pacific time.
Yeah.
I think.
7:40 Pacific, 10:40 Eastern. If you want to watch Jared.
Late night.
There we go.
Late night shot.
And then I'm not sure what day I throw for USA trials. I think it's probably a Sunday, the 26th. It's the 26th.
Gotcha. And so you would be competing. So are your prelims and finals for NCAA on the same day?
Yes.
So you have your trials at late night, and you just keep rolling into the final.
Yeah. So they'll do like first 3 throws, reorder whoever's top 9, and then go right into it.
Right. Who's your main competition this year from this crop?
This girl from Arizona State, her name's Jorinde van Klinken. She's from the Netherlands.
Okay.
She's the biggest competition so far, but I mean, a lot of this field is like very close to hitting a big one. I know a girl from Georgia's like really consistent at like 18 low, 18 mid. So if she gets a hold of one, she might be able to hit further one. So it's very close.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, cool. We'll be watching.